What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can maximize your Airbnb and short-term rental performance during peak season. When bookings are flooding in, you want to make sure that you're capturing all the potential revenue that you can. And one huge mistake that I see property investors, property managers, anyone in the short-term rental space making all the time is that they have this kind of bleeding neck problem that they're not aware of, where they're getting booked up in high season, but unknowingly leaving a lot of money on the table because they think that they're doing as well as they could be, when in reality, they could be getting way higher nightly rates and way better occupants than they are. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a few different strategies and tips that are going to help you to take all the money that you possibly can off the table during peak season. So, number one, it's important to understand the game that you're playing in high season and how that differs from low season. The name of the game during low season is largely to maximize your occupancy rate, meaning that in most low seasons, you're just really going to try to get your property booked up, because how most people tend to fail is that they just don't get booked up. The reality is, in low season, demand is far lower than supply. So it's not necessarily about getting the highest possible nightly rate as much as it is capturing some of the limited amount of demand that there actually is and getting your property booked. The name of the game is kind of the opposite in high season. In high season, there's usually a surplus of demand. There's more people looking for properties in a given area than there are properties for people to stay at. So it's not so much about getting your property booked up. That's almost a given during high season. The name of the game during high season, though, is to really optimize your nightly rates and make sure that you're capturing as high of nightly rate as you can, and as much revenue as you can when you do get your properties booked up. So that's the first thing, is just to understand that that is the name of the game. My second tip is going to be to open your calendar up far in advance of high season and start optimizing your prices at least 6 months out in advance of high season. I see too many people that just wait to open their calendar up, and they think that it's a better strategy to keep your calendar blocked off and then open it up last minute, when in reality, you're far better off opening your calendar up and just setting high prices so that you start to get some really high dollar value bookings come in, and then only lower your pricing as you need to as you get closer to those dates. So you also don't want to, when you do this, set your pricing sky high. I'm not talking about double or triple the nightly rate that you'd be okay with and just getting kind of screw you pricing on your listing. You want to set your pricing maybe 10, 15, potentially 20% above what you suspect a premium nightly rate would be for that night, and then go from there. You can always lower it, but you don't want to set your pricing too low and then have to raise it, because the reality is, once your night gets booked up, you then lost it on the opportunity to raise your nightly rates. So set your prices on the more aggressive side for high season, open it up far in advance, and then if you need to, you can always lower your prices back down. A little tangent to this is, for events, you might actually want to go sometimes 2, 3, or 4 times your average premium nightly rate, depending on how big the event is. I was recently talking with one of the investors that we work with, and he was talking about the Taylor Swift concert that's coming into town. Now, for that unprecedented huge amount of demand that's going to be coming into the city, I actually did recommend setting rates to begin with at 3 or 4 times what you normally would for a premium night, because you can always lower it back down, but you'd be absolutely amazed at how high the nightly rates can go for some crazy events like that. So that's your pricing. You want to open it up further in advance. You want to set premium pricing. Hey guys, if you are an existing or aspiring Airbnb host, investor, or co-host who's looking to level up your game and take your hosting to the next level, make a whole lot more money on Airbnb, and frankly, just have a whole lot more fun, then we've got something brand new for you that you're going to want to be a part of. You are not going to want to miss this. It's called BNB Tribe, and it's launching on March 1st. You can sign up down below to join the waitlist. There's going to be a link at the very top of the description to join the waitlist. You're going to want to do it. Trust me. If you've ever wanted to learn more about Airbnb and level up your short-term rental game, this is the opportunity to do it at a price that's going to be insane. It's going to be a total no-brainer. We're trying to make this as accessible to everyone as possible so that we can all join an incredible community of Airbnb hosts, co-hosts, investors from all over the world and really help each other to level up our game. There's going to be all kinds of great trainings, additional perks. I'm going to be doing giveaways, all kinds of fun stuff, and you're going to learn all about that when you sign up for the waitlist down below. So make sure you click the link in the description, join the waitlist. It's free to join, and I promise you it is going to be incredibly worthwhile. You are not going to want to miss this. So again, just check out the link in the description down below. It's going to be right at the top there. Make sure you join the waitlist, and I'll see you in there. And then the third tip that I have for you that's going to be really, really, really important to combine with this second tip is going to be to stay consistent, stay calm, stay cool. Don't lower your prices crazy when you don't get booked up. If you're not getting booked up, you want to be having a pricing strategy that allows you to look at your numbers and assess where you are on, I would recommend, a weekly basis. You don't need to do more often than that, because that I find tends people to become more emotional, more fanatical about it, but less frequently than that, and you're going to start to miss out on some opportunities. So once a week is ideal. And you want to have a data-driven strategy that allows you to assess for any given months of the year where you are relative to where you should be. If you're overbooked, then you want to increase your prices. If you're underbooked, you want to decrease your prices. If you're right on pace where you should be, then obviously you want to just keep your pricing consistent with where it is. And so you want to do this on a weekly basis. And again, stay calm, do not panic. In high season, again, I'm going to come back to the first point where the name of the game is really to get the highest nightly rate possible. So you don't need to freak out if your nights aren't fully booked. What I see all too often is that people, again, try to really just get their calendar booked far in advance so they can have some peace of mind, and they leave a lot of money on the table by doing so. If you're approaching a certain set of dates and they're not booked up, just realize that you can always start to lower your prices more and more. You can always run promotions last minute to get people in there. And the reality is, a lot of people, depending on the property, it'll differ exactly what percentage, but a lot of people are still going to be booking that property last minute. That's not to say that you should hold out and wait until the last minute to do anything, but it is to say that you shouldn't freak out if you have the odd day that's not booked up when you're maybe a week or two out from those dates in your calendar. So don't freak out, don't panic. You can always lower your rates more as you get closer to, but it's better to do it consistently over time in small increments than waiting and doing just one huge drop in your pricing where you're going to lose out on a lot. And also just realize that if you do have nights that sit vacant, it's not the end of the world. What I found is that most people stand to make a lot more in revenue on their property by pricing higher and staying consistent, having some nights go unbooked, than they do by pricing way lower and getting all their nights filled up. I always tell people, as kind of a polar end example, that you can make $100,000 a year with a short-term rental by getting one night booked for $100,000 for that one night, or getting 365 nights booked for whatever the nightly rate is there. Either way, you're going to end up at the same destination for revenue, but all else being equal, you'd rather get that one single guest staying with you that's going to pay $100,000 for that night than you would get all your nights booked up at a much lower nightly rate. So it's oftentimes better in high season, especially, to get a few of your nights unbooked and have really premium nightly rates for the nights that do get booked than to have all your nights booked up and have your rates be lower as a result. So those are my tips. That's what I found works really, really well for pricing during high season. If you follow those three fundamental tips, then you're likely not going to be leaving much money, if any at all, on the table. You're going to maximize your revenue in high season, and that is definitely the best time to be maximizing your revenue because there is the most opportunity during high season. If you have any comments, any thoughts, any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, if it was helpful for you, if you found that the tips were valuable and it's going to help you to make more money, or if you just want to do me a solid and help me out with growing this channel, then hit the like button down below the video as well. It does help me out tremendously with getting these videos in front of more people, helping grow the channel overall. So if you just hit the like button, I really would appreciate it. And also, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. The subscribe button's there. It only takes half a second to click it. And twice every single week, I post videos on this channel consistently, helping you to perform better with short-term rentals and Airbnb. So if you want to stay up to date with all of that, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those videos. All that being said, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.